Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by NightClub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today, you know what? It's still new to us, this whole 2025 thing. And thus far, it literally hell is frozen over, I feel like. As we record this, it's above freezing in the state of Florida, but it is not above the iguana line. And as I discussed on the Notcast, very briefly, I'm sure Steve edited most of that out. The iguana line, of course, is the temperature where iguanas start falling from the trees because they go into comas. That is apparently 45 degrees. And we're well below that. So
it is currently 43 degrees.
So while all of you people who are going to be buried in snow while you watch this, I feel for you. But imagine falling dinosaurs. That's what we're dealing with. So, I'm not sure which is worse.
And dinosaurs who aren't dead, they're in comas. So if you go near them and touch them, they will wake up and chase you.
Yep. And I'm not fast, guys. I'm and
that
they are. Without the S, definitely. But like, no, they're quick little motherfuckers. No. So, we're freezing, and we're not going outside. No. That's really what it's boiling down to.
Right.
Consequently, that means that we have nothing else to review this week because kind of haven't been really motivated to go out into the park, which kind of begs the question, and therefore is the introduction into this evening's topic, almost like I had planned that professionally. Why bother in 2025? And I realized that Amanda, being the history professor, and with us having nothing to review, that would seem to eliminate her role on the show. But Nene, allow me to reassign. The role is now ombudswoman. You're supposed to be the one that's the fact checker, which means that you are the one who is supposed to call me on my bullshit if you hear it. First of all,
sure.
Second of all, you are also supposed to provide a lesson in context so that we can discuss the very thing that we're reviewing when we do review one. This also would mean that should I present a headline from a news article or something like that would be kind of shall we say provocative or what have you, that would be also your job then to break it down and go, so this thing then basically is it I feel like it's a promotion. It's more than a professor.
Well,
it's like determining what's real. And fuck, in 2025, that's kind of hard to tell these days. So, especially online. I'm real, I think. Anyway, are you real?
Yeah, I feel like I'm real.
I don't know, because there was just a glow about you there all of a sudden, and that kind of freaked me out. And like, anyway, so before AI takes over the universe, and does it very poorly with bad images.
Oh God.
Let's jazz hands over here to the side and to figure out, like, seriously, what's in it for us?
Well, should we talk about what's closing or what's coming in 2025?
You know what? Let's start with what's closing. Let's just get the negative out of the way and maybe try to end on a positive note.
Okay. Because that's a long list.
Shit. Okay,
I have closings and refurbs. Closing and refurbs. So not everything is permanently closing, but there's a lot that is either closing or has closed for refurbs. It's a lot. It's a massive amount.
Uh,
All
Let's,
right.
let's start off with some big hitters, shall we?
Okay. Well, that would be over at Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has
Mhm.
already, as of this recording, closed. It closed on January 5th. And it will be closed the rest of the year. It will reopen sometime in 2026.
Well, I mean, that's kind of my favorite roller coaster at Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
So I and honestly, like Mission they're not Mission Space. Space Mountain is one that I used to love as a kid, but it's more difficult as I get older to get in and out of that car.
And I feel like
Um,
I'm going to die every time I ride it.
I have zero interest in Tron.
Yeah.
Everyone that keeps coming back says, um, I couldn't fit in the damn thing, or it was a pain to fit in the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just someone who looks like me. I'm talking about like fucking toothpicks of
No.
people.
Like when I rode it, like I was sore after getting on that ride. Like when I got off of that ride.
And you know what? I don't want the shame of the disabled bucket because I'm not disabled. You made a complicated ride system that didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Like there was no need for this.
It's also
Instead,
a ridiculously short ride too. So
that's the other side of the coin. It's visually striking.
oh
And
yeah, visually it's beautiful.
I think maybe this would rely kind of belie my entire problem with the Disney company right now, especially. Everything is very surface level.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, cast buildings and stuff have always just been fucking warehouses, basically, that
Hmm.
were really well put together, right?
Yeah.
But there was
Yeah.
always depth to every single one of these attractions beyond something that you would find at a carnival somewhere.
Yeah.
And what this feels like more and more, especially with something like Tron, it it feels more like a carnival ride, but like if it did meth and steroids at the same time. Methroids?
Yeah.
Methroids. Yeah.
That's the better of the portmanteaus.
Yeah. I don't think that yeah, the other one just doesn't even
Stairs.
yeah. Stethamphetamine. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
No.
So anywho, um I I'm just not interested in anything right now at Magic Kingdom because I'm not interested in the fantasy that they're trying to
Mhm.
present.
That's not the
Um,
only thing that's closing.
yeah, okay, go ahead. Get it all out of the way then. Let's just
Um,
cover all of Magic Kingdom right
for refurb, we also have Astro Orbiter. That will actually be closing, I believe, the day that this drops, which is the 13th. And it will be closed through the summer, or through summer of 2025. Hall of Presidents will be closing on Inauguration Day, January 20th, as is tradition. Um, and until sometime. They haven't given a reopen
now.
date for that.
Why are you Canada right now?
I'm sorry. I ever since we watched that episode, I just as is tradition.
Yeah.
We don't
And the
have a
pen
reopening date for that.
and the
But,
pen snips his hand and the butterscotch pudding as is tradition. What?
but yeah. And then closing permanently some point this year. Again, no date yet, but sometime this year. Closing permanently will be Tom Sawyer Island and the Liberty Square Riverboat / Rivers of America.
Okay. So from what I'm hearing, like the only thing that's going to be open is Jungle Cruise,
Uh huh.
Haunted Mansion,
Uh huh.
Peter Pan,
Uh huh.
that carousel horsey ride.
As long, right. As
It's a
long
small world,
as, right. As long as there's not high winds during fireworks.
right? Um, that shitty Little Mermaid ride.
Uh huh.
The fuck are we doing at Magic Kingdom? I mean, like,
Nothing.
there's nothing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not even saying that, like, it just, we ran out of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this is my problem with this, is why the IP thing doesn't work. We've run out of stuff
Yeah.
that we can just shove in there.
No.
So this is the problem though. But I guess I'm always going to be incorrect on this, because I think it genuinely might be cheaper for them to make an attraction last 10 years and
Yeah.
let it run its course. Don't maintain it to the level that it used to. Let it
Right.
die, and let it die a horrible death, by the way. And then just we're gonna repurpose it
Yeah.
so they can test out whatever new IP is going to be hot.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think that that's where this is going. So I
Yeah.
don't think that we're going to have the legacy rides
No.
to share with future generations.
We're
Let's just
not.
say.
We're not.
I
That is
like,
all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's all the closures for Magic Kingdom.
Okay. Is there anything opening new?
Yes. Um, there will be a new nighttime parade called Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away that will debut this summer. The Pirates of the Caribbean Tavern will also open sometime late 2025. And Cars Land construction will begin this year. We don't know when it's opening,
Oh, wow.
and we don't know when the Villains Land construction's even beginning. So we definitely don't have an opening date for that.
Man,
Yes.
enough of Magic Kingdom. Clearly, there's nothing to do over there.
Sure.
At least nothing that I want to do.
Right.
What about Epcot?
Well, Test Track will be reopening this summer, late
Okay.
summer. So that could be November, but you know.
Well, can I be honest with you?
Sure.
I don't know why I asked that question.
I don't either.
Like, why the hell would I have to ask permission to be honest? That doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, can I be honest with you?
Sure.
I am concerned about this reboot of Test Track,
Okay.
and I say that because it closed in June of last year.
Yeah.
And the way that Disney's construction timelines have recently gone,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like anything that's kind of worthwhile or done correctly takes a long, long time. Not too
Yeah.
long, as evidenced by the Moana fountain thing,
Yeah.
and the lights situation that's over at the Vagina Gardens and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, like, this feels awful short for a refurb, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does. But also, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just a retheme. They're not changing the.
Well, that's not what they said, is the
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Well, remember they said that it was going to bring back elements of the world of motion.
Right.
Okay. Elements of the world of motion is a dark ride. It's a omnimover ride,
Okay.
actually. There's animatronics involved. There's moving pieces involved. There's robotics and hydraulics and all that kind of shit
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
need to be worked out, and kinks that need to be done, and all of that kind of stuff. And their
Yeah.
track record of making animatronics recently, by the way, has been essentially pretty fucking slow. I'm not saying it's been
Yeah.
bad. I'm saying it's just been slow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
get it.
so that means that they're not breaking out any new animatronics for
Yeah.
this, clearly, unless they've had this in the works for a decade and we've just never heard of it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I don't see that happening or anything like that. The only other thing that comes to mind that they could do to evoke the world of motion is to
Mhm.
bring back literally the old set pieces. And I'm certain that there's like this Raiders of the Lost Ark style facility where they board up all the old animatronics. I think that's
Yeah.
exactly what they described for the Ellen's Energy Adventure one.
Yeah.
Um, but certainly, I would think that most of those have been sacrificed to the repairs of other animatronics for rides that are still open by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So I'm this is why I'm nervous. I don't know what they could do that would be done well in this short of a time frame.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it
So,
because I don't either.
especially when they are making a promise to me as a Disney Parks fan
Yeah.
and saying, we are going to do things like the world of motion.
Yeah.
Oh, you came to play, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how this goes. Um, anything else that's closing over there?
um, Currently closed for refurb is the Grand Fiesta Tour ride over in Mexico. It closed on January 6th and will reopen on March 15th.
Well, once the Ides of March are upon you, I guess right
Right?
next to St. Patrick's Day, you can go to Mexico at Epcot. That's the most
It's
American thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
also just in
Um,
time for Central Florida spring break reopening.
like, um, that sounds miserable. No, ugh. Let's see here. Is there anything opening?
Well, the Celebracion Encanto show over at the place at the pavilion. I don't remember what the
Well, you can't
pavilion
even say
is.
pavilion, correct? So,
You're right. God, I did mess that up. Pavilion. There we go. Sorry. Um, I don't even know what the name of that pavilion is. It's the one that nobody likes.
yeah, whatever. We can just leave it that like that.
It's been extended. That show's been extended through the winter of this year. And also opening up this year is the Spaceship Earth Lounge, which should be opening this spring.
I love how they've extended this show and made that as though that's like a benefit. First of all, uh,
Yeah.
second of all, or at least it's not to me. I'll go ahead and say it. I am not a parent. I don't have a kid who's watching that movie on repeat. I don't.
Yeah.
So if you are a parent with who is watching that movie on repeat, your experience may vary. But if you
Mhm.
have, I don't know, independent thought and don't necessarily feel compelled to force your kid in front of the TV to watch that same thing over and over and over again, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, tell them no every now and then. Jesus, the way that
Yeah.
Moana has apparently been streamed, like you people aren't telling them no. That's
Yeah.
what the problem is. But
Yeah.
my point is that they're making this seem as though this is an addition, and it's not. If anything, it's a continuance, and it's a signal to me that they don't have anything else to replace it with. Is it not?
Yeah. That's
They're
exactly what that says to me.
they're not going to end this show unless they have something to backfill it in, because now they
Right.
feel like they have to display a little bit more of the live entertainment. They don't have the
Mhm.
same attractions anymore.
Right.
People aren't getting on them in the same way anymore, and so they have to entertain these people somehow.
Right. Right. No, I agree. Like I fully believe that's why this show has been extended.
So
So
I don't know what else they're gonna do with it. Like,
I don't either.
fuck it. Like,
I don't
and
either.
you know what? If you want to make it your rotating theater for crap that Bobby doesn't like, fine. Like, that's fine. I That gives me a reason not to stand around in that stupid ass fountain.
Agreed.
But like, I just I don't understand this thinking, and it's because like these movies mean something to these kids,
Yeah.
certain.
Yeah.
And I'm certain that they may mean something more to me when we have kids.
Yeah.
But this is the thing about Disney World. and Disneyland when Walt ran it, um, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be for everybody. When Roy ran it, it was supposed to be for everybody. When Eisner
Yeah.
ran it, it was supposed to be for everybody. In fact, he was trying to be more inclusive of that teenage crowd because it wasn't necessarily cool to go to Disney World when you were a teenager.
No, it was he came in right as Universal was opening, and that definitely, and honestly, as a teacher of teenagers, the younger
Those were
side, but teenagers, because most of them are 13 and 14 years old. Um it's fun
sounds
days.
miserable.
Um they want to go to Universal, and it doesn't. Today they got talked to about, hey, our 8th grade trip to Universal is coming up in May. So they're all very excited because Universal's the cool place for teenagers.
Well, and part of that is they are opening a Universal has a catalog of movies that appeals more broadly
Right.
to that demographic. For one,
Right.
Disney has a catalog of those movies, but they can't use them here
Right.
on this coast. And honestly, they kind of fucked that whole series up anyway.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I didn't make it past episode 2 of that Agatha show.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. I haven't even tried the new season of the What If thing. I haven't
Yeah.
watched anything on Disney Plus in a minute. Like I'm at the point of like
Yeah.
we need to cancel that shit because like I'm not compelled to watch anything on there consistently.
Yeah.
Like the way that I binge watch, and maybe I'm rambling and being weird about stuff. It's that I binge watching comfort shows.
Yeah.
It's old Star Trek shows. It's old Frasier episodes. It's old shit. Apparently, all that Paramount produces, um, because that seems to be the most used app in our streaming services. But
Yeah.
um, I the stuff that Disney puts out is not stuff that appeals to me as someone who's seeking a little bit more mature stuff,
Yeah.
and that does not mean that you are immature for liking Disney, by the way.
Right.
It just means that you're seeking something else. And
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is that Eisner was trying to make it for those people too.
Yeah. He was trying to be, I feel like he was trying to
Wow.
live.
While preserving all of the previous stuff. It was addition, not replacement. That was the big thing
Yes.
for me. Sorry. Please
I was
continue.
just going to say, I feel like he was trying to live up to Walt's vision of it being for everybody.
Yes.
Like, because Walt started this because he took his daughters to an amusement park and there was nothing for him or his wife to do. Like, it
And,
was
and
just for the little kids.
and also, by the way, I'm certain that he thought he could make a few bucks off of it.
Oh
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh. But I feel like with Eisner, again, he came in as Universal Orlando's opening, and he knew that that was going to be competition. So he was trying to do things to draw in, that crowd. I feel like right now Disney's doing the opposite. Universal's about to open Epic Universe.
We'll
And
get
that
to
is
them.
okay.
We really do need to save that for the
Okay.
very end here.
Okay.
Let's move on. In fact,
Okay.
is there anything else opening up that we need to
No.
be? No.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Hollywood Studios then.
Okay.
Obviously, we know the Muppets are closing at some point, but it's
At some
not been
point.
announced,
It'll be
right?
some point this year because apparently construction's supposed to start on the Monsters Inc. land this year. But again, no date has been set.
Of course not.
Same thing for the retheme of Rock and Roller Coaster. There's no date set. However, the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy has closed already. It's done.
I want to point something out because I'm working in a very contractor heavy field, right?
Sure.
I mean, in fact, I'm working more with general contractors. I'm understanding the building process a lot better, and
Yeah.
I'm understanding it, by the way, down here specifically better,
Yeah.
because it's a very different environment for building
Yeah.
things down here. It takes time, and especially a building like what Disney is supposed to be building,
Yeah.
you have to have this kind of stuff planned out for a while. You
Yeah.
can't just rush shit together. You can't,
Right.
especially if there's like a key feature to something. And what I mean by that is, take a look at the Yeti
Yeah.
and look at how that was built into the mountain.
Yeah.
And if I would say that's a key feature of that attraction, but because it's been dead for so long and everything like that, it's just become a running joke. But
Yeah.
my point that I'm getting at here is that a lot of this stuff takes more time than I think people recognize
Right.
and way more planning. And I don't see the Disney company understanding or appreciating those timelines nearly as much. Look at
Yeah.
just how long Galaxy's Edge took.
Yeah.
I
No,
think you and I both agree that that's a great visual experience, right?
oh, fantastic visual experience.
It's a shopping mall with a crappy
Yeah.
food court and a bunch of plastic fish bunkers, um, and like a couple of okay rides.
Yeah.
Rise is still a really fun experience for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, but man, somebody shook me when they said that the Millennium Falcon ride is just fucking Star Tours. Like it's like
Yeah.
somebody shook me with that, and I can't unhear it. I can't.
Yeah.
Plus, the last time, or that one time that we wrote it together with a bunch of family members
Yeah.
that were down here, and we got
Yeah.
Chewbacca to also narrate shit.
That was fun.
That was like peak Millennium Falcon experience.
Yeah.
Um, my point is that took a long time.
Yeah. That did.
That took a lot of effort too, by the way.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, they can say, "Oh yeah, we're throwing money at it." Don't think that that's making that any better. I don't think
Nope.
that that's making it any faster in terms of
No.
anything. And I point to the Epcot light situation
Yeah.
as an example. They were trying so desperately at that point to finish up that area because it had run into budget problems and it had just sat there for a while and they didn't know what to do with it. So they were just trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. But because they didn't figure it out correctly, and then
Yeah.
work with the maintenance department to say, don't pressure wash this thing,
Yeah.
they broke like almost immediately. And they've never really operated perfectly since then.
Yeah.
And some of them have come back online now. The Moana stuff seems to have been rushed to a degree because they didn't know how to fit her in anywhere else.
Yeah.
But they
No,
were
I get it.
desperate to get her into the parks.
Yeah. I kind of feel it was the same with Frozen when Frozen
Yeah.
came out. Like they were desperate to get Frozen into the parks, and
But
they
at that time, they had good Imagineers. Is
yeah.
that's the difference, Sorry, I
Yeah.
feel like I killed your thought process there. My
Nope.
bad.
You're fine. It's fine. It's all good.
It happens all the time. I
Yep.
know. Sorry, baby.
Hmm.
Um, obviously, I'm crushed by the Muppets
Yeah.
stuff. But it just sounds like there's nothing left there to do now except for Star Wars and Toy Story,
Yeah.
and hope that Tower of Terror is working.
Yep.
Because everything else is under construction and everything else is or everything else is crap,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, no offense, I loved the Indiana Jones stunt show, but like it's time to move on from that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet that one remains.
Yeah.
That one remains. I don't get it. And I love Indiana Jones just as much as I love the Muppets.
Yeah.
I do, but I'm trying to be discerning anyway. Plus, it's an outdoor thing. Ugh, nobody wants to sit outdoors. Not in this heat.
No.
Are we getting anything in Hollywood studios?
We're getting a couple of shows.
The hell are we getting it? Okay.
There was a new
What
Little
picks up?
Mermaid. There's a new Little Mermaid show to replace the old Little Mermaid show. That's coming this summer.
Okay. What's the other thing?
There's a new villain show also coming this summer.
Okay. I don't know what a villain show is.
I mean, it's a show with the villains. I don't. That's all I know.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with the Little Mermaid. All right.
Okay.
Which
What?
one is it? Is it the
I
old one
don't
or the new one?
know.
Let's start there.
Honestly, I don't know.
How
If
about
it's
this?
gonna be.
You know what? I hope for their sake they've done something smart and just made it interchangeable so that you just don't know and just both are fine. I think it's
Well, hold on. I'm looking at some of the concept art, and it looks like. First of all, it looks like they don't know where this movie takes place.
Oh, I have a theory on those. No,
Also, it appears to be the old version from the concept art.
have I told you my theory on these things?
No.
All these concept art things, I think this was proto AI. Like all of them. Like all this AI generated image stuff. Like that's what I think this is.
Well, considering that I am looking at the scene where Ariel and Eric are in the boat and like Kiss the Girl is playing.
Go for it, dude. Her fish and set the mood.
Considering that the original fairy tale was written by, a Danish author. But Sebastian is very much Jamaican. And but this is like, I see flamingos in this concept art. I see frogs in this concept art. Flounder's not even in the water. Flounder is above the water in this concept art, which,
by the way, flounder, I believe, is a pufferfish, not even a flounder, which doesn't balloon up like that. That's weird, right? We've been into aquariums. We're not going to get into it on this show. Anyway, so I guess my point is that
flounder, he is not a flounder.
He's just called flounder.
But he is likely, apparently we don't know what type of fish he is. The consensus is that he is probably like some type of angelfish or what's called a sergeant major, which is a damsel.
Hard disagree. Way too passive to be a damselfish. We're not getting it.
Yeah, he's not a damsel.
Anyway, I guess where I was going with all of that is why bother? What are we doing with this? We already have a Little Mermaid attraction that sucks over at Magic Kingdom. We're not introducing the new Little Mermaid and letting both properties breathe and giving everybody a chance to feel included at that point, which I think would be the fine thing to do. It's okay. So I just don't understand what the point is. We've not been clamoring for this to come back as Disney fans, right?
No, I have not heard anyone say, "Hey, bring back the Little Mermaid show."
Neither have I. And like I watch some of the nut jobs just to get an idea of what the pixie dusters are saying and stuff. And
Yeah.
like they're I don't even think they're impressed by this. Like no, not even like Little Mermaid fans are excited about this.
Yeah. No.
So I'm baffled by it. I don't even remember the other one. The Disney, what was it? Disney Villains?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? All right, let's move on. Let's go to Animal
Okay.
Kingdom.
All right. Quite a bit's happening over there.
Well, yeah.
We got a whole land that's closing. So speaking of, we're gonna start over in Dino Land USA. Everything except Dinosaur is closing January 13th. So and the only things left over there are Triceratops Spin and the Dino-Rama, like where all the games are. Those are closing January 13th, which I believe is the day that this recording comes out.
Are they closing any of the all the restaurants and shops and everything like that too? So that's basically just
I'm
Dinosaur.
not 100% sure that wasn't in the list that I saw. It just said Triceratops Spin and Dinorama area. The Dinorama area may include, I don't know if that's going to include Restaurantosaurus and
I
the
think
gift
that
shop that's over there.
I hope that they leave the gift shop open until, and I hope that they leave Restaurantosaurus open because I feel like so much effort was put into that part of this whole Dino Land
Oh
thing.
my
Like,
gosh,
if
it
we're gonna let it
absolutely
die,
was.
if we're gonna kill off Dino Land, like give it a glorious send off. Like, let that be the star for a minute instead of Chester and Hester.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole backstory for Restaurantosaurus.
We're not gonna do that because
No,
otherwise we're
but like they put in um a lot of work to that. And I have good memories at Restaurantosaurus too from my childhood. So
clearly though it went underappreciated because nobody gives a
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So
Well,
that
they changed it. It used to be like a character dining, and all. And then when Tusker House opened, that took the character dining, and they changed Restaurantosaurus to like a quick service, which that was disappointing. But
you know, I have a thought, and this is something that's a little different.
okay,
You know, I'm not a parent, obviously, so I don't know how I would feel about this. But how would you feel about just the kids living in the moment and having the opportunity to just walk by and say hello to certain characters at quick service locations?
I mean, I think that would be cool.
I think the caveat there is no pictures, no autographs. You're just saying hi. And you're
Yeah,
shuffling them in and out in like 5 minutes so that you can give it 10 minutes, let the crowds disperse, then bring in another one.
yeah,
Why couldn't Disney do a character thing like that? Where
because I think, and I know at Disneyland, characters walk around more freely, um, because crowds are typically smaller than they
and
are
they
at
don't have
Disney
the
World,
utilidors. So they
and they
can't
don't
just
have the
disappear them.
right. But it's not uncommon at Disneyland, to just see at Disney World, the characters have certain spots that they go to because crowds are so massive at Disney World, for pictures and all of that.
Well,
Um,
that's my point. Is that I'm
yeah,
trying to say you make it an experience where it's not a photo op.
yeah.
It's not something where your kid's going to get to pose and you're going to get a cute picture. No, your kid's going to get to wave and you're just going to watch the joy on that kid's face for a minute while you just get to soak it in. And if you want to
I'm
take
not.
a quick picture, fine, but it's candid, it's not posed, nobody's stopping, and you just move it along. I
I
think that
think
would excite them.
it would, but I don't. I just remember that maybe it was the last time we were at Epcot when we were waiting on who I forget who we were. I think we were meeting your cousin. We were waiting, and Pluto just like walks by, and like he's like interacting, like he comes over and he was like interacting with you and all of this. We didn't get pictures, but then like other people saw him, and immediately like a line started forming for
Okay.
pictures.
But that's on Disney to say tough shit. Like
Yeah,
that's not
I
what
know.
this is. Like people have to know that on the front end, and then you have to tell them no too.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
you have to be adults in the room and say, no photos. Remember the
Yeah.
whole no flash photography thing that was a part of every pre-ride spiel?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, like, not for nothing, this is supposed to be an experienced thing.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And we are not experiencing that. And it feels like Restaurantosaurus would be the perfect place for something like for the last few months for it to be a quick service location and just be something that you could draw people to and give it a proper send off by doing something like what I was talking about with quick service characters.
Yeah.
Just meats. You sit
Yeah.
down, you eat, that nobody stops, nobody does anything other than says hi, and then they move it along and say bye.
Yeah. No, I get. Yeah. Yep.
I think that would be super cool. What else is happening over there?
Over at, let's see, Dinosaur will be open the rest of the year. It will close sometime in 2026. So there's that.
And that might be the last time I go to Animal Kingdom. Honestly, I'm not impressed by Indiana Jones or Encanto or whatever.
Yeah.
None of this is drawing me back there.
Yeah.
I'm out. So
It's tough to be a bug. It's finally going away sometime this year. It will be replaced with a Zootopia show that will open sometime this winter.
perfectly fine and appropriate. Don't care.
I mean, Zootopia is fine. Like,
Whatever. Who cares?
and then Cali River Rapids is currently closed for refurb. It closed January 6th. Not sure when it's opening, but it's too cold for Cali
It's
River Rapids. So
we are.
who goes?
I've worn shorts pretty much every day that I've lived in Florida. Okay, today is not a day that I've worn shorts.
Nope.
That's
I walked our dog in like my jeans today because it's
unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I
walked
demand
Cooper in
global
jeans.
warming is what I demand.
Oh God. Please don't.
Amanda,
Yes.
before we wrap this whole thing up, is there anything happening with resorts that we should be aware of?
Sure. Real quick, Typhoon Lagoon Water Park is currently closed for its annual refurbishment. So, but Blizzard Beach is open on days where it's not too cold.
It's apropos today.
Yeah. As far as resorts go, a lot of pool closures. A lot of pool closures. Over at All Star Movies, their Fantasia pool is currently closed and will reopen in April. Over at Beach Club, Stormalong Bay and the Shipwreck pool are both closed and will open in June. I say there's a lot. There's only 2 pools.
Well,
but there's some room refurbs going on as well. Boardwalk is getting a redesigned lobby and rooms. Construction is ongoing over there. Bay Lake Tower is getting room refurbs through September. And Grand Floridian still has room refurbs ongoing, and their convention center, I'm assuming, will be undergoing a refurb summer to fall of this year. So
okay. Well, none of that's. You know what? Let me just go ahead and ask the question that we started off with.
mm-hmm.
Why bother?
Nope. I don't have no. I wouldn't say a beach club until the pools reopen because that's the best part of beach club.
Sure.
If I can't enjoy Stormalong Bay, I'm not going. Now I will say this with the All Stars. First of all, it's the All Stars anyway, but whatever.
Sure.
If you are staying at All Star Movies during this time where the pool is closed, you can use the pool at any of the All Star resorts. So
Yeah, that's
there's that.
that's a fair point, and it's not something that's not necessarily widely publicized. It's
Right.
not like this show's widely seen, so it's not like it's a great secret that's going to get out. But still,
It is,
um,
considering how strict Disney is, not can be, but is about pool hopping. Knowing that if you're staying at All Star Movies, that you are able to go to the other pools
well,
while the
I feel like there's the good reason for it,
oh,
and
there's an
actually,
absolutely good reason for them being
and
strict
you
on
know
it.
why? It's you know what it is. Honestly, this is kind of where I'm seeing like the downfall of society in a way. Like,
Mhm.
yes, of course, there was always people who
Yeah.
were always gaming the system and everything like that. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of people trying to game the system. I'm
Yeah.
tired of people trying to make life more miserable.
Yeah.
Before us, we talked about that last week when we talked about all the tips and tricks and everything else. This is the
Yeah.
the same kind of symptom. They want to experience a deluxe resort and get every single amenity without actually staying there. And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I like going and hanging out at resorts too, but I'm there to visit people usually. I'm not just
Yeah.
at Wilderness Lodge hanging out in the
Yeah.
lobby. You know,
Yeah.
like it used to be, especially when we first started this podcast. Um, if you were going to a resort, you either had to be staying there or you had to have a dinner reservation to like
Yep.
drive up to it, which meant
Yep.
like just going to check out something like the Riviera was incredibly difficult
Yeah.
because like even if you parked over at a theme park or something like that, it's
Yeah.
not the easiest transportation to get back and forth to.
No.
You know, especially when you're trying to get to a car that's parked
Right.
elsewhere.
Right.
Um, so I appreciate the reasons why, but I'm disappointed with us as Disney fans for trying to game that system,
Yeah.
I
I am too.
guess.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for Stormalong Bay
Mhm.
specifically. But also the pool over at the Polynesian, the lava pool or whatever.
Yeah.
I, and but I also think that though it's kind of okay for like the all stars to share, or even
Yeah.
something like Pop Century and Art of Animation. I think should share
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I do think that it is reciprocal over at Port Orleans for
I think
pools.
it is. Yeah.
Um, and Coronado, it's big enough. like
Yeah.
they, it's big enough for two resorts. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
So that pretty much covers all the moderates. But like getting to it's a little bit different for something like the All Stars or Pop and Art.
Yeah.
Those are walkable next to each
Yeah.
other basically and everything. Um, it's almost like Universal in a way because Universal their setup, at least where we have stayed in over there, we could
Yeah.
walk to four different resorts pretty easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just looking at it like if you can walk there, yeah, that should be fine
Yeah.
with pool swapping, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a way to just like practically ease restrictions and let people have a little
Yeah.
fun and a little bit of different, maybe. I don't think resort hopping is a bad thing either, but
No.
none of the stuff that's come out or is coming out is drawing me to anything. Like Grand Destino Tower opening up is a draw. Polynesian opening up technically counts, I guess,
Yeah.
for this year still, but
I
it
mean,
opened last
opened in
year,
2024, so
and I'm intrigued to see that. I guess, but I'm gonna run out of stuff that I'm gonna want to do in 2025. To be
yeah.
honest with you, and that's where I'm running into a struggle with future content here.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we also maybe pepper in some other local stuff every now and then. Maybe
Yeah.
give some people some ideas of other things that you can try while you're here. We've done that sort of with more Disney experiences, and I think we did a show even on Kennedy Space Center one time.
Yeah.
Um, I think we should do a little bit more of that, maybe,
Yeah.
and see if we can just keep it up. But like, we'll still be mostly Disney focused. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I would just say this though: the Epic Universe opening up in
This summer.
2025.
Yeah.
I have zero interest in anything that Disney's putting out,
Well, yeah. I mean, not
and
much
Disney
is
knows
coming out.
this. Disney knows
They
this.
do.
Is why nothing's coming out. The only reason I would come here in 2025 is nostalgia or DVC points. Like
Yeah.
honestly, save your money,
Yep.
and or if you have it, spend it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Disney World will still be here, and frankly, it's undergoing a change that's uncomfortable right now.
Yep.
It's forcing us to reevaluate what we think of as good Disney.
Yeah.
I think, and because for a lot of people, what's happening now, Pat talked about it briefly. His mom loved the experience down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
She thought everything was so clean and it was so well run and so on and so forth. And Disney thinks of that guest as the one that they are appealing to. And they're right, by the
Yeah.
way. They
Yeah.
are appealing to that guest. Um, and I don't mean this to be insulting in any way, shape, or form, but it's because she doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Disney was once a place that was stunning for those who knew and those who didn't. It was
Yeah.
something that invited you to look further and deeper into the details. And that's not something that they are achieving right now. In fact, they're pretty much saying don't look too closely,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what they're saying.
Well, that's not the Disney of old. That's not good Disney to me.
No, it's
Um,
not.
but to someone like his mom, it's still a good show.
Yeah.
And I think that this is where I am starting to see a variance with how the studios and how these entertainment companies are defining what is good. They are
Yeah.
defining what is good with the most general, oblivious person possible. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that again, it's not insulting. His mom's
Yeah.
not a Disney World nut job.
Yeah.
She's not.
No.
She went one time when Pat was a kid. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
We've been hundreds. We know all the tricks. We know all the inside out stuff.
Yeah. We do.
My favorite, by the way, is when I do go on social media and they're like,
Yeah.
did you know these 5 secret things about Disney World? I'm like, you mean the 5 most obvious facts ever?
Yep. Right. They're not secret at all.
If they had told me about a secret underground bunker where they were hiding the Buzzy animatronic and all of the cats that I'm convinced live on property,
Yeah.
that would be a Disney World secret.
Yeah. But
But they're not doing
no.
that.
No.
By the way, we should do a show like that. Disney World conspiracy theories. Oh my
Oh
god.
God. Yeah.
My god, what
That
if I
would be
got an
fun.
actual foil hat?
Oh my gosh. That would be fun though.
This is in the works now. Okay. Guys, I think it's time for us to warm up now. Amanda, before we get the hell out of here and go throw on the
Hold on,
heater.
hold on, hold on. It's time for us to warm up.
Yes. That's
Oh, like go get under blankets.
yes.
Not
Because I'm fucking freezing. It's
I was about to
outside.
say, like warm up for the show. We've been doing this for
No,
like an
we've been doing
hour.
it. Yeah, I know. No. My voice is fine. No. So before we get all warm and cozy and stuff, can you tell us where we might be found on social media?
Yeah, sure. You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter, at Cynical Disney. And you can find us everywhere else. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Pinterest. I think I covered everything. At Cynics on Disney.
And don't forget, guys, that this here podcast is brought to you by NotClub33.com. Make sure that you are checking out NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates. And that would include, but not be limited to, the Notcast, released pretty much every Friday, especially now that we're getting back into the swing of things. It's been a little bit of a hectic, schedule here of late. for the entire crew, but we are starting to get back together. In fact, we forced ourselves to record in the midst of a blizzard for a couple of them. So
Yep.
I can't wait for this particular episode that will have already been released by the time that this one airs. Once you're done here, go check that one out, guys. It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Also, while you're at it, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and make sure that you drop a comment. And by doing so, you're helping us get into the algorithm more and expose us to more listeners. And trust me, because we're on video, I don't want to expose myself in any other way. I'm an air conditioning salesman. I'm not into fans. Anyway, until next time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope we're going to bring on somebody for a review next week. But until next time, have yourselves a magical fucking day.